Hello and welcome to ahaliblogger.tech in association with ahavts.com, bringing you this video blog on the answer is Ansible, sort of. And in this video blog, we'll be running Ansible playbooks against our Linux hosts. And those playbooks include updating the host and installing NetTools, disabling firewall and network manager services. We'll update the host files on these Linux hosts to include the Ansible controller's fully qualified domain name. We'll also install NTP, and on the second Linux host, we'll install Nginx and move a file from the Ansible controller to its HTML directory. So, let's get started. Alright, so as you can see, I have my Ansible controller on the screen, and it's 192.168.64.118, and my newly created Linux hosts of 192.168.64.119 and .120. So the first thing we'll do here, I will issue the command yum check update on my Ansible controller to make sure that it has been updated. And as you can see, there's no updates pending, so it's up to date. Great. But I don't think I can say the same thing for my Linux hosts. So I'll just issue the yum check update on my Linux host 1. Alright, so as you can see, a lot of updates is pending, and the same thing can be said for .120. Alright, so back on the Ansible controller, I'll change directories to my install directory. And as you can see, here are my playbooks that we will be running against these Linux hosts. First thing we'll take a look at is the inventory file. And as you can see, under the all tag, we have Ansible host 1 and Ansible host 2, but under the web definition, we have only Ansible host 2. Okay, so let's go ahead. And now, quickly, let's take a look at our basic update playbook. And as you can see, this is what our playbook looked like to run a yum update and install NetTools. Excellent. So let's go ahead and run this playbook against our Linux hosts. So the syntax I'll be using is as follows. So Ansible playbook followed by then the inventory file, and then the basic YAML playbook. And I'll hit enter here. And as you can see, the play is about to be ran. The tasks to gather facts is all green, so we're connected to our hosts 1 and 2. And now we're running yum update. And as you know, if you ever ran an update against any Linux host, it will take a minute. This probably will take about 5 minutes or so. So shortly I'll pause the video and return. Alright, so you can see that we have some changes made on Ansible host 2 from the run yum update. And we have change that occur on Ansible host 1. Great, so that took about 5 minutes for the yum update to happen. And we also see that tasks for running yum update to install NetTools has also been changed. And that's what the yellow indication is. And let's see a play recap. We see that the changes have been made on both host 1 and 2. Everything is okay. And if there were any failures, it will be outlined in red. So excellent. Our first playbook have been ran successfully. All right, so the next playbook would be to stop those services. So let's go ahead, hit the up arrow here. We're going to run it against the inventory file the same way. So let's go ahead and stop these services. And before I issue this command, let me jump on Linux host 1 and see if I issue the yum check update command, if any updates are needed. And as you can see, our Linux host has been successfully updated. Excellent. And the same thing could be said for Linux host 2. All right, so let's go ahead and stop these services. Hit enter here, and the process should be a little bit shorter now. All right, so we gather the tasks, the facts, okay, connected to our hosts changes have been successfully made and everything is okay, no failures. Great. So now I'll issue update host files. There we go. And again, everything is successful. Excellent. App arrow again. And now we go ahead and install NTP. All right. Installing NTP. Changes are made on both. Great. We're good to go. And last, we will go ahead and install Nginx and move a file from the controller to Linux host 2. Okay, here we go. And as you can see, we're running the task only against Ansible host 2. Changes have been made. So now we're installing the EPEL release. And while this is installing, let's take a second here. These playbooks are ran against 2 Linux hosts. Just imagine the time it takes for you to log into each Linux host and do these tasks manually. Probably take you about a half hour or so, but just imagine you have to do this across 1,000 hosts to prepare them, for example, for a KVM install. Just imagine about 10 minutes to 15 minutes or even a half hour per host, right, times 1,000 gives you a lot of minutes, and it'll probably take you about 170 man hours to perform. So just think about the power of automation configuration management against your hosts. So let's take a look here. All the tasks have been ran successfully and we are good to go. So let's prove that Nginx is fully installed. I'll open up a web browser here. Type in 192.168.64.120, and as you can see, Nginx has been successfully installed. So let's go ahead and jump to this directory here on Linux host 2 user share nginx.html, and let's see if that file that I have up here, Ansible file to nginx.txt, has been successfully moved over. So we'll cd to user. Let's go back and take a look. Share Nginx, HTML, ls, and as you can see, our file has been successfully moved over. Excellent, great. Well, I hope you like this video blog and running these playbooks against our Linux hosts to see the power of automation through Ansible configuration management of our devices. Again, just imagine we have to run this against 1,000 devices and spend a half hour on each one of these devices. Just imagine how many man hours, which totals up to about 500, and if you break it down into weeks, would be about 12.5 weeks or 3 months of man hours used to install these updates to prepare for something, for example, like KVM. We can all do it through the power of automation. I hope you enjoyed this video blog, and I thank you for viewing.